ド派手に楽しくマーメイドはこうじゃないとさ。
私たちが笑顔を忘れちゃダメか。大事なこと忘れてたかも。
What? Dalia, that is like the 101 of dance theater. What are you even doing? Hello and welcome to another Streaming Parson Dig Delight Direct Drive DJ video. Today we are talking about Mermaid's muscle-bound vanguard, Matsuyama Dalia. Dalia is a challenging character to write because there is a tension in balancing her tough girl persona to fulfill some sort of franchise quota while making her relatable despite her jarring contrast to the cute anime girl world she lives in. On the outset, Dalia is intimidating with her tall muscular figure, seriously stern voice, complete with the resting bitch face. However, underneath that fierce exterior is a kind soul who puts others before herself. While Dalia is more than strong enough to put most people in a chokehold, her real strength is something beyond physical. Dalia is introduced in Road to D4 Fest Mermaid, looking at the same ad Saori is. Dalia's first real scene is her busting onto the scene when Rika, Marika, and Saori are having an impromptu performance at a school-related party event. Seeing them have a good time, Dalia wants to join in and show off her dance moves. These people oddly do not exchange contact information after dancing with each other, but not to worry, this allows Dalia to get a do-over on her introduction. At a later scene, the other three are receiving criticism from some randoms at a nightclub. Dalia busts onto the scene again, telling them off, and they immediately back off. This highlights the quality that she is known for. The tough girl attitude makes her intimidating, making for a good bodyguard, contrasting Mermaid's bubbly, carefree attitude. Dalia is not all bark when it comes to her intimidation factor. She reveals early in the story that she practiced martial arts and is a black belt at the young age of 20. She further explains that she has a part-time job as a bartender and doubles as security. It is implied that Dalia has had her fair share of altercations. Saori points out that it felt natural for Dalia to intervene the way that she does. This raises a comedic aspect of Dalia's character to check off that tough girl quota. Jumping to the end of Road to D4 Fest Mermaid, the girls meet the randoms that criticized Rika earlier in the story. The randoms formally apologize, and while Rika, Marika, and Saori accept the apology, Dalia straight up threatens these people with physical violence. Fortunately, her scary appearance is enough to keep the randoms in line, but what is alarming is that Dalia assumes that there's going to be some sort of altercation, as if she's looking for a fight everywhere she goes. In Dalia the Dauntless, Saori calls the mermaid girls over in distress of hearing noises outside of her window at night. Instead of doing the logical thing and overruling Saori's objection to calling the police, Mermaid decides to spend the night and wait for the noises to occur. When they do come, Mermaid cowers in fear, regretting not calling for the authorities. But Dalia stands her ground, ready to throw down. The story gives a peaceful resolution, but it does beg the question of what would happen if there really was a person there. Even with her martial arts experience, this is extremely dangerous, as the intruder could have a weapon, or there could be multiple intruders. What would Dalia do if either of those were the case? Why does Dalia think that she can just brute force her way through a problem? Being the oldest college-age character in D4DJ, it is strange to see her act so rashly. In Miss Dalia to the Rescue, Dalia tutors Marika in essay writing. Marika points out that not only is Dalia quite knowledgeable, but is quite skilled in teaching others. While it is not a one-to-one correlation, one would think that Dalia is the sort of person to think through her actions. At the very least, she should not be throwing herself into harm's way the way that she does. Between these two member card stories, there is a huge disparity in Dalia's behavior. How can she be so thoughtful here, whereas in Dalia the Dauntless, she is so thoughtless? The reality is that Dalia is very self-sacrificing, always putting others first before herself. This quality of Dalia is played out in a way to give her a heroic vibe. When Mermaid and Rondo stay at a beach house to work on their Ani-Mello collaboration, Nagisa wants to go out at night to the convenience store. Dalia insists on accompanying her, to which Nagisa comments on how Dalia is her bodyguard, considering their massive difference in physique. While they are walking through a dark forest, there is some funny dialogue about Dalia's nickname during her karate days. She was once known as the Bear Hunter, as despite only being 117 pounds, she has been able to win fights against much larger opponents. This impresses Nagisa, leading her to state that Dalia doesn't scare easily. Dalia tries to tease Nagisa by asking her what she is afraid of. Nagisa immediately turns the tables on her by telling a ghost story. Nagisa learns that Dalia is scared of ghosts and teases her by pretending to see a ghost behind her. Dalia completely inverts her protective aspect and puts Nagisa in a chokehold. The mere mention of ghosts has such a strong effect on Dalia that her apparent bravado instantly disappears. Despite Mermaid and Rondo having two collaboration events prior to Sparkling Buds Bursting Lagoon, Nagisa doesn't learn about Dalia's weakness until the member card story in The Forest at Night. The thing about this dynamic is that the audience has already known about Dalia's weakness since Groovy Mix's launch. Returning to Dalia the Dauntless, Mermaid makes some small talk about her martial arts skill. Marika jokes about how useless that is against a ghost. Dalia immediately reveals to them that she is afraid of ghosts because she feels she is unable to protect herself from them. While it would be hilarious to see Dalia try and typhoon kick a ghost, Dalia's willingness to disclose her honest feelings is a huge contrast to her brutish appearance. She continues that it's normal for everybody to have fears, and hers stems from the notion that any problem that she can't just bludgeon through is scary. Most fears ultimately stem from the fact that human beings have to come to terms with how little control they actually have in life. No amount of preparation and positive thinking can completely dispel the existential dread that comes from facing the unknown. Dalia understands this and behaves like this is normal, as is expected from Mermaid's oldest member. The irony is that Dalia's phobia is treated in a way to depict her as being childish. In Search for Moonlight Ayakashi, Dalia, Saori, and Yuka joined Ibuki in visiting a rural village for Shrine Maiden duties. During their orientation, a young girl tries to warn them of the spirits that live in the forest. The girl's mother apologizes to the group about the superstitious talk, to which the group treats like it's no big deal because if there were ghosts, Dalia would protect them. However, she is uneasy about the whole thing, unsure of how she would even be able to do that.
まあ、今鬼なのは私だけど、鬼に食べられるって話は迷信だろうけど、野生動物はいるみたいだし、本当は見つかってないだけで、実は大型の獣とかが。何？熊？タヌキ？お化けではないよね？え？まあ、狐くらい普通だよね。そもそも、狐が多い土地だって委員長さんも言ってたし、さっきの話でも、狐はいるってことだったし。鬼の話があるからって、お化けなんかが出てくるわけ。って、いやいや、また狐かなんかで。見つけた。喋った。
That night, Ibuki is to go through the forest for a ceremonial stage play, while the others perform the parts of various yokai. While waiting in the forest, Dalia hears rustling sounds, and after hearing a voice in the darkness, freaks out and runs to Ibuki, disrupting her shrine maiden duties. It turns out that the voice she heard was Saori's following her after hearing other voices in the forest. The three of them hear eerie noises and jump to conclusions, believing that there are real ghosts. Dalia is so scared that she runs back into the forest until she bumps into a kid trying to run out of the forest. Turns out that the children in the village were trying to scare the D4DJ characters away from the mountain. However, they are thwarted by Yuka, reminding the audience that these peaky girls are sharper than vibranium scalpels by discovering them while the college girls hid behind high schoolers. This is extremely embarrassing for Dalia, as not only is she easily scared off by children, but is also showed up by Yuka's bravery considering their huge age gap. The embarrassment is heightened in the corresponding member card story, Dalia's Secret. Receiving some deserved rest and relaxation after Ibuki's Shrine Maiden duties, the four of them talk about how the kids were very convincing in their scare tactic. Dalia tries to play it cool, but Yuka, with that surgical precision, figures out that Dalia is deathly afraid of ghosts. Dalia justifies herself in the same way she disclosed her fear to Mermaid, with the fact that ghosts are scary because they cannot be physically attacked, making me wonder why people think that punching ghosts is a viable strategy. Unfortunately for Dalia, Ibuki and Yuka do not let up, as they find her phobia endearing and tease her for what it's worth. Dalia being treated like a child by high schoolers breaks down that intimidating image, allowing the audience to better relate to her. Knowing that Dalia has a childish side to her allows her to display one of her more charming characteristics. In Dalia's Secret, Saori bumps into Dalia at the mall. She immediately takes notice of the man Dalia is with, so she makes several observations while watching the two of them shop. Saori first notices that the guy is very shy, like herself, avoiding eye contact. This highlights Dalia's animal magnetism with timid individuals. The next thing Saori observes is Dalia's attentiveness and care for others in her knowledge of the man's wardrobe. The audience often sees this quality when Dalia is protective of others, but that can be lost when Donuts makes her look comical when she assumes the need for physical altercations to protect her friends. The third observation Saori makes is Dalia's youthful innocence. After Dalia calls the man Oni-chan, Dalia's absent-mindedness is displayed as she didn't introduce her older brother to Saori the moment they met. It is as if Dalia is in her own little world when she is with him. In My Big Brother's Cooking, Dalia's brother comes over to her apartment to cook for her. It is implied that this is a regular event, allowing the audience to see an interesting back and forth of Dalia and her brother caring for each other. Oni-chan cooks for her often because she is not much of one, despite growing up in a family of chefs. In this story, he cooks a high-end French restaurant-style meal that Dalia praises. He attempts to divert her praise by comparing himself to their father, making himself seem inferior. Dalia is quick to call out his negative attitude and states that he should be more confident in his skills. This is closely parallel to Saori and her frequent self-doubt throughout Groovy Mix's narrative. Dalia's relationship with her brother highlights her empathy, especially towards timid individuals. Her experience with her brother allows her to speak to others with a sense of authority when telling them to be more confident in themselves. D4DJ loves their timid DJs. Their logic is the fact that they are the ones working behind the scenes, so to speak. With D4DJ having 4 members per unit, not only can characters be pitched easily by utilizing the 4-girl gang trope, but the DJ has 3 performers in front of them to draw most of the audience's attention. Happy Around's Maho is similar to Saori in that timid DJ archetype. Despite her level of skill not limited to DJing, Maho is doubtful of her ability and tends to downplay others' compliments. In Aspiration and Study, Dalia and Maho meet again at the first D4 Fest. Dalia is happy to see Maho again, and knowing that they are both in the DJ scene states that it would be a privilege if they could work together. Maho rejects that proposal as she feels that she's not good enough for them to be on the same stage. Dalia rebuts by pointing out Maho's strong work ethic, believing that she is more than capable as a DJ. It is revealed that they knew each other from years ago when Dalia was still a karate student and Maho enrolled in the same dojo to learn self-defense. Maho admits that she always looked up to Dalia's strength and maturity. Dalia contrasts this with praising Maho's kindness and willingness to help others. Dalia knowing what to say to the self-doubtful is the result of years of experience, but that doesn't mean that Dalia is always fully confident. Dalia is quick to call out others for their negativity, but she is not exempt from it herself. She is passionate about dancing and as a result is very critical of her own skill. As early as her first performance after Mermaid's founding, she is overly critical of her dancing skills, picking at little details. In Two Flowers, The Stage for Dreaming, Dalia watches an old dance audition tape of herself. She is quick to point out her imperfections and states that her judges were right in rejecting her. This story highlights Dalia's tendency to be overly self-conscious when she knows that others are watching her. Even when it comes to just her looks alone, knowing that she is being looked at draws out her negativity. Throughout the story, Marika comments on Dalia's good looks and physique, yet Dalia dawns upon the comments of some randoms psyching out just before her photography shoot. Fortunately, Dalia's natural stage presence gets her through her modeling shoot without a hitch.
それじゃあダリア、今日はお疲れ様でした。
マリカもお疲れ。
どうだった？初めてのモデル。
緊張した。でも楽しかった。カメラマンさんも褒めてくれるし。
田中さん、褒めるの上手だよね。世界一可愛くなったみたいな気持ちになっちゃう。
撮影してる時のマリカは本当にそうだったよ。
本当？ダリアにそう言われると嬉しい。
自分でやってみて改めてマリカってすごいんだなって思った。ポーズとか表情とか私は指示をもらってって感じだったけど、マリカは何も言われなくても求められてるものをすぐにこなせてたから。
それは慣れだよ。ダリアだってすごかったよ。あれが初めての撮影だなんて思えないくらい堂々としてて、それにマリカにはない魅力がたくさんあって羨ましいなって思っちゃった。
羨ましい？
キュンとしちゃう目力とか。
キュン？私の目が？
そうそう、もうキュンキュンってするよ。今日だって田中さんに目力褒められたでしょ。
私の目なんて怖いだけかと思ってた。
怖くないよ。むしろいいなーって思うもん。マリカも目力欲しいな。あとはほら、メイドさんになった時のあの雰囲気とか、マリカにはとても出せないよ。
雰囲気ね。
あれ
？After their modeling gig, Dalia and Marika go for some drinks, and it is here that the audience gets a bit of a treat. Dalia compliments Marika's modeling experience while putting herself down. Just like her brother, Dalia's comparing herself to someone else draws up some insecurity, viewing herself as unworthy of praise. Marika attempts to get Dalia into a better mood, focusing on Dalia's attractiveness. Alcohol does its magic to loosen the lips, as Dalia reveals to Marika that she always wanted to become a professional dancer, and one day make it to Broadway. While dancing has always been a part of Dalia's character, for her to state her dreams gives this impression of Dalia's inner youthful innocence that is often swept aside for the sake of appearing mature. Marika, inspired by Dalia's passion, reveals her own dreams of one day becoming a movie actor. Dalia's attention to detail is brought in again, but this time instead of pointing at her own flaws, she sees Marika's skill and experience and encourages her with how they translate into her acting pursuits. After some more encouragement, they raise their glasses to chasing dreams. Their sharing of dreams and aspirations is used to give Dalia a rare moment for character drama. Side origin, Mermaid, tells a story of Mermaid looking to expand their brand considering their increasing popularity after their nationwide tour and appearance in the second D4 Fest. Considering that Abyss Mare is not much of a threat, Mermaid decides to look for a place to make their primary base of operation. While all of this is happening, Dalia is the focus of Side Origin's B-plot. She learns that there is a Broadway scout that has taken interest in her and wants to see a mermaid performance. Dalia invites Tabata to their opening show at their new nightclub, Club Mermaid. Unfortunately, the building structure could not handle these floor killers, and the venue floods as a result. Due to the abrupt end of their show, the Broadway scout tells Dalia that she will not be considered for a Broadway audition. The rain masks Dalia's tears as her dreams are crushed under the fallout of Club Mermaid's accident. After a long hangover, Marika finds Dalia and they talk about her broken dreams. Dalia doesn't blame Rika's impulsiveness and over-reliance on luck, but instead finds excuses in herself on why she wasn't accepted for Broadway. She states that even if the club didn't have the accident, her moves were not as good as they should have been, making her unworthy of Tabata's approval. On the one hand, Dalia is mature in not placing blame onto others for life's misfortunes, which reminds the audience of Dalia's grace and kindness. On the other hand, Dalia is too self-conscious in blaming herself for something that was beyond her control. She uses the excuse of being nervous just because someone else is watching her. But an excuse is all it is. Dalia nosedives into negativity in questioning whether she really ever dreamed of going big with her dancing. Marika shares her wisdom on the importance of never giving up on your dreams. She pokes a bit of fun of being happy to see Dalia's vulnerable side, drawing to attention the reality that Dalia really is a young woman and just needs to be graceful to herself.
お疲れ様です、田畑さん。滞在しているホテルの名前をお聞きしていたので、ここで待っていれば会えるかもと。週末、私たちの新しいクラブハウスでもう一度オープンイベントを開催するんです。オーディションのことは関係ありません。自分のことより私たちの本当の実力を見せられずに終わってしまったことが悔しいんです。マーメイドのパフォーマンスはあんなものじゃない。がっかりさせたまま帰らせるなんてできません。これ、イベントのチケットです。今度こそ期待は裏切りませんから。じゃあ。
Side Origin Mermaid ends with the team being given a second chance in receiving a new clubhouse to use. They dubbed their new base of operation Club Lagoon and prepare to do a revival show to make up for the last one. Dalia finds Tabata and bravely invites her to the new show despite knowing her chances for Broadway were already washed away. However, she is being strong, not relying on her physique, but her willingness to keep dreaming. This bravery is rewarded as Tabata acknowledges Dalia's skill and encourages her to keep working hard for when they next meet. Dalia is inspired knowing that her dream is still within reach, which is heightened when Tabata states that all of Mermaid has what it takes to get to Broadway. While Dalia wants to get a little bit greedy, she reminds Mermaid not to get too ahead of themselves and focus on the here and now. This is a beautiful reminder that sometimes it's okay to take life one step at a time and allow yourself to enjoy your youth. After all, if Dalia is allowed to dwell in her childishness, then it is okay for the other characters to be more relaxed in life, reminding the audience that this is a cute girl anime world where one is free to dream.
こじんまりした店内に所狭しと商品が置いてあって、でも不思議と整頓されてる感じ。どれも素敵で思わず手に取ってみたくなっちゃった。爽やかで青葉のような香りか。いいね。こういうグリーン系はあまり買ったことないけど。自分の知らない自分の好みってまだあるんだ。